Hello, this is Teaching for Success, and my name is Rosa. So today we are going to talk about diagnostic testing, which is an assessment that tries to help or enables a teacher or an educator to know what their student knows about a topic that they're just about to teach. So a teacher is trying to find out the background knowledge that a student has of a topic that they're just about to teach. That information that they get as a result from their diagnostic testing is going to be used by the teacher to drive their instruction. So I want us to look at a diagnostic given by a teacher at Dade Nursery and Primary School. And this is Teacher Charles. So we're going to go through the grows and glows of his diagnostic assessment. A glow is what he did well in, and a grow is what needs improvement. So I'm going to give him the feedback. So let's share a screen and find out how he did. Okay. Okay, so right here we have a write-up of Teacher Charles's diagnostic. It is a diagnostic done with a primary 5 class, and his diagnostic is based on rabbit keeping for that P5 class. So he says that the topic was finding out what learners know or what they covered in P5 class about rabbits. So my question is, I'm trying to find out what was the topic, the main topic that he was teaching that was in the science curriculum that he was teaching the P5s. So when you do a diagnostic, it's important to use it to find out what information your students know or need in order for you to find a starting point for your instruction for a given topic, a new topic that you're about to teach. So from what Teacher Charles has written here, I am not quite sure what the topic is. It does say to find out what learners need to know about what they covered in P5 class about rabbits. So if he writes that, I'm assuming that he's going to teach about rabbits. But if you already taught about rabbits in P5 or they've learned about rabbits already, then my question would be, why are we doing this diagnostic about the rabbits? But if you haven't taught anything about rabbit keeping, and I'm assuming the topic is rabbit keeping, so if you haven't taught anything about rabbit keeping, then I think that the diagnostic would be a little too can I say, intensive and deep for no particular reason at all. A diagnostic should be something short, something simple that will drive the instruction. But this diagnostic looks like a summative evaluation. Let's look at the questions that were in the diagnostic. It says a practical diagnostic test whereby the learners were able to touch, observe, identify, and name parts of a rabbit and mention their functions both orally and written. Okay, to me, that isn't really about rabbit keeping. Okay, so that would be what the students, you're trying to find out what they know about rabbits. Okay, so, and your topic is going to be about rabbit keeping. So you want to find out whether You want to find out whether they know the parts of a rabbit and whether they can label a rabbit and draw a rabbit. So that's what I assume the diagnostic was about, okay? So he said 23 learners, 4 of them were tested, 4 of them did not label the parts of a rabbit. So if I am going to teach about rabbit keeping, I would want to find out if students have ever seen a rabbit, if they know what a rabbit looks like, if they know what it takes to keep a rabbit, like in their own opinion. If I have to keep a rabbit, how do I have to feed it? How do I have to clean it? How do I have to take care of it? So that's the information that I would be actually asking, because your topic is rabbit keeping, right? So the diagnostic isn't quite related to the topic, because if your topic is rabbit keeping, then you need to ask questions about what they know about rabbit keeping rather than labeling a rabbit, okay? So this is the feedback that I gave teacher Charles. I started with glows. I started with glows, which was like the things that I felt he did really well in this diagnostic. One, I like how he used the diagnostic to correct the students' misconceptions. I like how he differentiated his instruction by providing different types of diagnostic assessments, basically oral and written. It wasn't just a paper pencil test. It was also an oral test. So I added a question in my feedback to him. Why is this important? Because they might be students who are good at expressing themselves verbally, but they're not good at expressing themselves in writing. So he would still be able to tell from all students, either verbally or in writing, what they know about keeping rabbits. So in his case, whether they can label a rabbit or tell him what the parts of a rabbit are. So that was my glow for him in terms of this written diagnostic results that he's written out there. The grow, what I would like him to work on was, I first asked a question: what was the lesson that you are going to teach that required you to determine what the students knew about rabbit keeping? I don't see any questions there about rabbit keeping, yet that is your topic. And then if the diagnostic was to discover what students knew about rabbit keeping, you could have given them a simple, quick diagnostic. Name 3 ways rabbits are kept. Done. Okay, write it on a piece of paper or tell me orally, and you've got your information there. Okay, write down the answers that they give and you have your information there. So no need to go into a whole slew of questions, which I saw on the blackboard in the video. Too many questions for a diagnostic. It has to be simple and it has to be related to the topic, okay, to drive your instruction. Then the third one was, a diagnostic is not a formative or summative evaluation. It's better kept simple, short, and to the point, okay? A glow that I gave teacher Charles for his video was how he walked around the house, the class. He walked around the classroom. He didn't just stand in front of the classroom as he did the diagnostic or worked with the students. He was circulating around the classroom, which is something that we as teachers need to do. Also, his lesson took place partly outside the classroom, and it was very interactive, engaging, interesting, and authentic. Okay, they had a real rabbit there. They didn't just have pictures of rabbits, which was great. And the students got to touch the rabbit, which was really engaging. And it was really authentic, and I really, really liked that about that lesson. That was an awesome lesson, and that's what brings about student engagement when we make our lessons very authentic. So well done, Teacher Charles. And then in terms of things that I watched in the video, let's talk about growth, things that we can help Teacher Charles improve. I saw that he gave feedback on students' papers. There was one student in particular who had a lot of check marks, but there was a negative, maybe they got 1 or 2 parts of the rabbit wrong in the labeling, but the feedback was all negative. There was nothing that said, great job for labeling most of the parts of the rabbit correctly. Please practice labeling the other parts correctly. Okay, so we need positive feedback, a grow and a glow. What are you going to improve on, and what did you do well? Okay, and then the feedback was practice naming of a rabbit. So, okay, if I'm a student and I read that as feedback from my teacher, but how am I going to do it? How am I going to practice? Am I going to practice with a buddy? Are the parts of the rabbit going to be posted on the blackboard, on a board in the classroom that I can refer to? Am I going to get homework to practice it? How am I going to sit with a buddy and we question each other and try to practice it? How am I going to practice it? So make sure that you give your students the how, okay? Not just the what, okay, to do. Then there was some check marks on some students' work with no feedback at all. And then one thing that I noticed is the class boards were pretty empty. Okay, we need to let the boards of the class be the third teacher, somewhere where students can refer to material that they need when they're learning. Okay, they need visuals, they need things to refer to, visuals to refer to, like vocabulary, words that are subject specific, and maybe in this case, a drawing of a rabbit, maybe different, as students have a discussion about how to keep a rabbit, then maybe the teacher could have jotted down some examples on the board for the students to always refer to and to help them to remember. And then we had the diagnostic on the blackboard. It looked like Teacher Charles, you had were teaching a topic already and using part of your questions in the topic as the diagnostic. So those two should be separate, okay? The questions on the board, if you are starting a new topic, then that's a bit too complex for students to ask them all those questions and have those expectations when you haven't taught the topic, okay? If it was the topic, let's go back, was about rabbit keeping, then our questions for diagnostic should have been how are rabbits kept, okay? And if you wanted to find out whether they knew how to label a rabbit and all of that, there were too many questions in that diagnostic. We need to really keep it simple. You just need the questions that you need for yourself. And remember, diagnostics, you don't put marks on them, because I saw someone got 95% or whatever. They are not marked and given back to the students. Remember, a diagnostic is for you as a teacher. You collect it and use it to correct the students where they've gone wrong, but it's your information. It's not something that it's going to be sent home like a test. It's not something that necessarily needs to go back to the students. You just need to correct their mistakes. I have a discussion, whole class, about the mistakes they made. Or if a student has major misconceptions, you can do a small group or one-on-one intensive guided group, but not put marks on it. It looked pretty much like a summative evaluation to me. Okay, so I saw another paper as well that had some positive feedback, which was good. So that is wonderful. And then the last thing I want to touch base on was next steps. Okay, I didn't see any next steps. So now that you've ascertained that some students don't know how to label a rabbit, great. You told them that they need to practice naming parts of a rabbit by drawing with them on a chart. You are going to do it together with a class, great job. But as an individual, what else could the student do to practice it other than whole class? Are there other ways that they could practice it? And then let's go back to the main question. You wanted to find out what learners know and what they covered in P5 class about rabbits. Okay, so simple question could be, tell me 2 or 3 things you learned about rabbits in P5. Write them out on a piece of paper. Done. That's your diagnostic. Okay, so that you know what not to waste your time teaching because you've taught it, or what misconceptions that the students have about rabbit keeping, you know, and then you can fix those misconceptions. All right, but from the diagnostic you gave, it was not going to really help you find out about rabbit keeping for the P5 class, unless I have misunderstood you. I'm thinking maybe your topic was about rabbit keeping, but you wanted to find out about what they knew about rabbits, which is great. But then all you focused mostly on was, you mostly focused on the labeling, okay? Identifying parts of a rabbit, mentioning their functions, the functions of the parts of a rabbit, okay? Which is okay, but how is it related to rabbit keeping? Do the students need to know the parts of a rabbit and how to label them in order to know how to keep a rabbit? Do I really need to know the functions and parts of a rabbit in order to know how to keep a rabbit? Maybe, but I think we should have kept it short and simple and just ask the students. Our topic we're teaching today is about rabbit keeping. What do you know about rabbit keeping? Because that's the direction you want to move into to inform your instruction. So they tell you what they know about rabbit keeping, so that if they know certain things, then you don't have to reteach them. And what they don't know about rabbit teaching, that is what you're going to focus on your new topic. We're not going to go back to see what they remember from their previous year if it does not help them in learning the new topic. Does naming and the functions and the parts of a rabbit have to do with rabbit keeping? That's my question to you. Maybe, maybe not. That's something that I would like us to discuss together in our workshop so that I better understand your diagnostic in science. But great job for doing a diagnostic in science. Not many teachers that I know of do that. They normally do that for math, but it's good to see a teacher taking it up in another subject area. So great job, teacher Charles. Great job, teacher Charles. Okay, so we'll stop sharing there. So thank you very much for listening in on how teachers can write a diagnostic test or give a diagnostic test to students to drive the instruction, to find out misconceptions that students might have about a topic that they're currently going to teach. Okay, it always starts at the beginning of a topic, at the beginning of a unit, not in the middle. Okay, and it's supposed to help you figure out what to teach, what not to teach, what the students don't understand, and what they need to understand in order to have a better understanding of that new topic. that you are teaching. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and please bear in mind that Teacher Charles and the staff of Dade Nursery and Primary School did have a workshop on different kinds of assessment. We talked about diagnostic assessments, formative assessments, and summative assessments. So this was Teacher Charles practicing for the first time diagnostics, and I think he did an excellent job. So well done, Teacher Charles. Well done, staff of Dade Nursery and Primary School. Thank you very much.